Okay folks, this is DIY Dave here. Time for a new video. This is actually a revisit of an old topic. We've done oil changes before, but we're going to do it a little bit different spin on this one because we have a special guest star today. This is my daughter Lane.
Hello.
What we're going to do is she asked the last time before we started to do the last round of maintenance on the vehicle, one of our vehicles, if she could watch me do an oil change. She'd like to learn how to do an oil change herself, and I think that is a great thing you can teach young people as a way to save a little bit of money on maintaining a car, and it's one of the simplest things you can do. So we're going to do exactly that, and guess what? She's going to get to do just about all of this. I'm going to help her along the way so she'll know the steps, and I thought I'd bring you along for the fun. So let's get started. All right, young lady, first thing, number one, is we're all about safety.
Okay.
A car falling on you can only kill you and really spoil your day and probably cause you to miss your next appointment at the grocery store.
Right.
So we're going to be safe. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the parking brake. So hop in there and set the parking brake for the vehicle. Oh, just as soon as I unlock it. There, unlocked.
Okay. Where is the brake on the...
Parking brake is at your left foot where it says push on off. All the way to make sure it's pushed all the way down. Good enough. All right. That released it. There you go. All right. Now that locks down the emergency brake. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a thing called chalking the wheels. And that means that if the car rolls backwards, the wheels will not be able to roll over it. And what we do with that are these wheel chocks. So pick those up. There are two of those in there. Go ahead and separate them. All right, now come back here, and you want to put those behind the wheels. Good job. Do this. That's good. Same thing on the other side. Perfect. So now we've got the parking brake secured and we've got the wheels chalked. That's about as safe as you can make it. That keeps the car from rolling back on top of you, which then keeps it from falling off of the jack stand. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jack it up. When you might be doing this on your own at some point, you might not have a great big floor jack, but for the sake of today, we're going to use a floor jack. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this guy and we're going to aim for this pad right there to be underneath a lifting point underneath the van. So come here and I'll show you. There's a lifting point right in the center of the frame rail, right under here, and that's what we're aiming for. That's what's going to be. That's what's going to bear the weight of the jack. There you go.
Now where is it, you said?
You're going to go right underneath the center. Hang on, I'll help kind of guide it a little bit. Okay, you want to scoot it over a little bit left. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going straight. Keep going a little bit more. Right there's good.
Okay.
Okay, now you want to crank the handle on the jack all clockwise.
Okay, clockwise.
That way it's nice and locked up. Okay, now start jacking. And we'll make sure, yeah, it's exactly where we want it. That's perfect. You nailed it. So we're going to keep going. And what we want to do is we want to lift it. We want to lift the car until the wheels are just off the ground a little bit. And it will get harder as you go farther up.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. Don't skip arm day, folks.
One more.
Okay.
That's good. Okay. So now, here's the important lesson number 2.
Okay.
Sometimes people will get under a car that is supported only by a jack. That is a deadly, dangerous mistake to make. Don't make that mistake.
Okay.
You never get under a car supported only by a jack. A jack is intended to lift a weight but not sustain the weight.
Okay.
All right. So now that's why we have these gadgets over here called jack stands. And we're going to get this here jack stand and this here jack stand. And what I'll do is I want you to kind of get on one side and I'll get on the other, and we'll show you where to put these guys.
Okay.
Now notice that where I'm aiming, there's this piece of the frame. See this large bar across here where the jack is?
Yes.
That's all part of the frame, and that's where all the weight and structure of the vehicle rests.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for this guy to go right about there. Okay, so I'm going to set this down. I'm going to put that pin in there. So 1 second. Let me lift this guy up. Oh, hang on a second. My pin is missing. Stand by. Okay, the pin, I had to take a break because I noticed that the pin that I used to secure the height was missing. So we're going to use a different, I couldn't find it, so we're going to use a different set of jack stands. So, but the same principle applies. We're going to take this puppy and we are going to set it right about there. Okay, so there I've set the pin on this one. So now you take this one and you slide it in approximately the same position on that side.
Like unto so?
Yes. Okay, now what you, yeah, that looks good. And they're about this, you're a little bit farther down than I am. You can back it up a little bit. You want them to be approximately equal. Okay. And you want that little cradle at the top.
Yes.
You want that to be kind of straight or perpendicular to the, there you go, so it rests evenly. So I think that's pretty darn good. Okay, so now what we're going to do, now we're going to come back here. Remember how we tightened the crank on the floor jack? Mm-hmm. Now we're going to do the opposite, because what we want to do is we want the jack to lower, and we want the weight of the car to be on the jack stands, not on the jack. Okay. So go ahead and come up here and turn the handle counterclockwise to release the pressure. There you go. And now if you'll notice, you can come out and take a look. You notice that the car is now sitting on those jack stands. Huh. So this is about as safe as we can get it in reality. So go ahead and pull the jack out. And we'll just move that out of the way so it's not a tripping hazard. Now, one of the things that we're going to do eventually is I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood on this. There's one thing. Go ahead and open the door and pop the hood release.
Where is that on this car?
Hood release is right there. Good show.
Just a different layout than my Corolla.
Exactly. So now the latch is right there. Okay. Put your fingers right there. There's a little latch right there. And then lift up.
Latch.
Okay. Now hold that up. And then we'll take this little cheater bar here. And it will hold it up. Okay, set it back down.
There we go. All
right, so now what I'm going to do, when you have the engine sealed up like this, when it drains, it's like, you know, when you put a straw in a drink and when you put a straw in a drink and you put your finger over the top of the straw and you pull it out, it retains it creates a vacuum and it retains the liquid in. Right. Well, roughly a similar principle applies when the engine is sealed up. It won't drain as freely. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen. This is not critical, it makes it a little easier. We're going to loosen the fill plug and we're going to loosen the dipstick. So just go ahead and pull that dipstick up.
Okay, wait.
No, just go straight up. It doesn't screw in.
Oh, okay. It was just a little bit. It was just a little bit tight.
That's okay. That's okay. And all you're wanting to do is to loosen it so you break that air seal, the air vacuum. That's
okay,
all.
so that's why it's.
And this is not a safety issue, or it doesn't break the car if you don't do it. It just makes it easier to drain. It makes the engine oil drain more freely. Okay, so now we're about the neatness factor. We're going to drain all the old oil out, and this is basically a big diaper that we put under the car, so in case the oil catch pan doesn't catch all of it. So we're going to take that and unfold it. We're going to put that underneath the van.
Oh, it's sticky on the underneath.
Yeah, that's the side that catches all the schmutz.
Oh, okay, so put this side down?
Actually, the other way around.
Okay, well.
And you want to probably put it lengthwise, the opposite direction, to go between the jack stands.
Okie doke. Like under so?
Yeah. Because now what we're aiming for, I'll show you where we're going. I'll familiarize you. This is the oil drain pan right here. This is where all the oil lives.
Okay.
And that's where the oil filter cartridge is held. That's a case that holds it. And there is the drain plug. So what we'll do is we're going to get us a little catch basin. We'll put it right here, and then we're going to get a bolt, a wrench, and we'll loosen that drain plug, that bolt, and then we'll let the engine oil drain, and then we will get a special wrench and we'll pull this thing off, replace the cartridge, and refill it, and we're done.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
All right. So now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a catch basin. I have large catch basins and small catch basins. We're going to use, that one should be adequate. So grab that guy, and let's head over here. And put that as close to underneath the oil pan as I showed you. Okay? Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the little drain nozzle there.
Okay.
So actually, I told you to do this sideways. Put it at 180 degrees. That way, when it drains, it will drain toward that corner and into the hole. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so the next step is to get us a wrench and open up that bolt right there, that drain plug.
Okay.
So, yeah. Now, hopefully, the last time I put that on there, I didn't put them on so gorilla tight that it's going to create an act of Congress and a nuclear device to loosen it. But we'll see. And you would think, I've done this so many times, I would remember the size of wrench that it takes to loosen that drain plug. I believe it is 14 millimeters. So, 11, and of course my 14 is missing. 13, 11, 15, 17, 18,
Hike.
14. There you go. Okay, so now let's make sure that's the right one first. See if you can put that on here. Now let me show you how this wrench works.
Okay.
This is called a ratcheting wrench, okay? A ratcheting wrench is a very handy tool because what it does is it lets you, it kind of works like a torque wrench where it will grab the bolt, but then it will let you twist it like a ratchet so you don't have to take it off and then put it back on and then take it back off and put it back on. So you have to figure out which direction when you're taking it off. Remember that when you are taking a bolt off, you generally remember it by lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. If I turn it left, it's getting loose. If I turn it right, it's getting tighter. Okay. So since we're taking it off, which direction we want to take it?
Left.
Left. We're going lefty-loosey. So we want to make sure that this ratcheting wrench turns, is applying force going to the left. So how we do that is just figure out which side. Hear it clicking this way. That means that if I use it this direction, you hear it click, that means it's putting the torque, the pressure this way. So we want to use the other side.
Okay.
Now it's going down, so now it's pulling. So this is the side that we want to put on the bolt. Now let me quickly see if this is the right size. Ah, it is. Now, sometimes I try not to put these on super gorilla tight because there's no point in putting them on tight. You just want them snug enough where they don't leak. So we want to try this, and what you want to do is you want to pull as far at the end of this as you can, and to get it loose. So put your hand right there. Give it a good hard pull.
I don't think it's budging.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to show you a little lesson in leverage. Leverage is one of the coolest things that anyone working on a car has to work for. What you want to do is you want to gain what they call mechanical advantage on a tight bolt like that. And what you do is, for the same amount of force, if you create a longer wrench, you apply more torque. because the force is multiplied. The force, what they call the moment arm, is equal to the distance times the force. So the longer the moment arm, the more force you're applying. So we do that with this little cheat. This is just a bigger, longer wrench. So all you really have to do
Use the force.
is but that's the tricky part. Sometimes the wrenches don't always cooperate. Okay, now, so slide over here toward me a little bit, and I'll get out of the way. Grab it right here at the far end. The greater the distance, the more advantage you get.
Okay.
And I'll pull it right there.
Like towards me or
Yeah, you want to pull it toward me.
Toward you?
Right. It's being... Ow.
There we go.
I think we got it. Okay, now this is where we get dirty. Okay? This is the first part. Oh, by the way, there's a set of in my trunk. In my trunk, there's a roll of little blue shop towels. Grab a roll of shop towels.
Okie doke.
Since we broke that puppy loose, you should see if you can, even though you broke it loose, it still might be snug. So see if you can get in there and loosen that a little bit more until it starts draining.
Loosen here.
Uh-huh.
See the little...
Still too snug?
Well, I don't know if it's too snug or if I'm just not getting enough grip on it.
It might still be...
Yeah, I think it's just a little still too snug.
Okay.
You gotta have some torque. For any of you people out there who might also play Nancy Drew games, which I don't know how many of you out there would, but...
Okay. Grab that wrench.
Okie doke.
And go for it some more. Now you don't have to go all the way. You can do that. That works. But the ratcheting will let you do that without having to back all the way around and go in circles. Okay, I think it's loose. Now you can take it out by hand now. Now when that engine will come out, it's going to be all goopy and sticky and gross and fun and messy.
Oh!
Yeah. See there? Yeah. Welcome to Getting Messy with Earl. Okay, so now what I'll do...
I would have enough time to move my hand.
No, you don't. You won't. You never have enough time to move your hand. That's the whole point. You're going to get messy. That's the first thing. You can't be afraid of getting messy working on a car. If you're afraid of getting messy, you might as well not even bother. That's just part of it, and that's why they invented soap. And that's why you have lots of shop towels. These shop towels, these may be the best tool in the whole garage. Let me tell you. All right.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah. Hashtag not a sponsor. So what we do now is we're going to sit and we're going to let that oil drain. Now notice that the color of that oil, it's kind of a dark, really dark honey brown. It's not black. And it kind of has a petroleum smell to it. It's not a burnt smell. That's kind of what you want. After oil has been going through an engine for about 5,000 miles, which is the change interval I have always used, it's normal to see oil have that kind of a very dark honey color to it. And that's why it's important to change it. That's because the oil that we'll put in, which you'll see is nice and clean and clear, it takes all that schmutz and stuff out of the engine and causes it to run hotter, and you want that stuff to be carried away. So we'll just sit here and we'll let that get to a trickle, and then we'll come back and we'll put the cap back on. So we'll pause this for a second and let it go. So far so good?
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a pause and be back in a few. Now, through the magic of television and video, we have magically jumped to the point where the drain pan is essentially empty. We have just a very slow drip. So what we're going to do, go ahead and take your little rag there, that little rag, and just clean off that area around that around the oil pan, right down here where it's dripping. And you won't get it to completely stop. We're just going to get the worst of it off. Give it a good, nice clean. Okay, now what we're going to do is you're going to take that the drain pan bolt, and what you're going to do is, you know, you can pick it up without the rag because you're going to need to be able to grab it to start with. Okay, now you're going to put it back in that hole, and you're going to start it. But I want you to, before you don't want to. It's very important not to cross thread it.
Okay.
So when you start it, you want to start it going a little bit to the left, even though that loosens it, and you'll feel a thread kind of click in, and that lets you know that it's in the right spot. Then you rotate it clockwise. Okay, you hear it click? That lets you know that it's gotten to the right. And now you can start, and it should spin freely. If it resists at all, then you may have it cross-threaded. If you have it cross-threaded, that's a real problem.
Miracle.
Okay, and get it hand tight. Now what we'll do is we'll take this same wrench we took before, and now we'll use the flip side of it. Make sure you figure out which, because now we're going to tighten it.
So, how do I figure that out again?
Okay, it ratchets when you move the wrench and you hear it ratchet. The force is applied the opposite direction. When it's quiet, that's the direction it's pushing. If it's ratcheting, it's going the opposite. Now, okay, rotate it. Okay, so if it's ratcheting, it's catching. So push it down. So now it's pushing. It would, if a bolt were in here, it would be turning this way. That's the direction. That's tighty. That's righty tighty.
Okay, so we're using this side.
So we're gonna put that side.
Come on. Well,
That's okay. You'll get it on there. Just be patient.
there we go.
Okay. Now swing it out this way a little bit, and now bring it back towards you. Keep going. That's all right. If it's happened to me once, it's happened 1,000 times. Now look at the direction that you're going. Did it go on backwards? I think it might have.
No.
So flip it around. Hang on. Maybe I told you backwards. Go ahead and. Okay, that's the direction that you want. So this back side goes. Yeah, we're good right there.
Okay.
Okay, now let me give you a little hint right here. What you want to do, you want the tool to do the work for you, and for the tool to do the work, you want to make it as long as possible, like this.
Okay.
So get that guy on there like that. You would pull out here at the edge, and then pull out here at the. You want to make the tool do the work, so you pull it here at the edge, and then bring it around.
Bring it around town.
And then do one. Now bring it back towards you one more time, and then give it another good push. And you know what? Let me give it a tug. There, that should be good enough. Now there is a spec for exactly how tight you should make that, and I'll double check it later, but you should always torque to factory specs so no one fusses. But that gets it nice and tight, and so now we're going to move over to removing the oil filter. And that is this happy little guy right here, and it's its own special kind of fun.
Oh dear.
Now your car, Toyotas, like your Corolla and this van, they have this same little unusual contraption where they have this cartridge that fits inside a housing, and we have to take off that housing and replace the cartridge. And to get this housing off, you need a special tool, and that's what this guy is. Ta-da! And to do this, you fit it right on there like that, and then we need a wrench that we can spin it off with. So let me make sure I've got the right wrench. Okay, this is our canister wrench. This removes the canister from the car.
Okay.
This is just a 7/8 inch drive socket that fits on the back of this on the back of this tool, removal tool. And then I just have an adapter that goes on this long handle brake. This is called a breaker bar, this long tool. And just like I told you before, how when you use a wrench, you want to get as much length on it so it does the work for you.
Right.
That's what this breaker bar does. It gives you lots of torque.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy on the filter housing. Okay, good. And now we're going to take this guy.
Oh, it's heavy. Okay.
Okay, same principle applies. We're going to go lefty-loosey.
Okay, look at that.
Now you're going to need to push. That won't ratchet. You're going to have to push.
Well, I can't.
Oh, you need to, excuse me.
I couldn't exactly. Couldn't exactly push because
Now,
there's a tire in the way.
Okay. Rotate it back a little bit because okay, it was not quite snug on the filter.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, you're fine. Don't apologize. It's all about learning. It's not quite on there snug.
Oh.
So rotate the wrench back to your left a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So now go ahead and give it a push to the. The last time I used this removal tool, it was starting to act like it was not grabbing as well. It used to work great, but we've had it for years. So, okay, so I got to admit I put the camera down, so I cheated a little bit. I had better pull on this side. I got the thing all together and I gave it a good pull on this side, and I had better leverage on this angle, so I went ahead and it broke loose a little bit. Yeah, just keep going, keep turning it the same direction. See, feel it going. Now you're cooking. And actually, what we can do now, what we can do now is we can switch to a regular ratcheting wrench. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Make it easier. Okay. What we did is we transferred the reducer and the socket off of the breaker bar, which doesn't ratchet, onto this simple ratcheting wrench. And since it's already loose, this will now help us get it loose. And I've already got it set up going the right direction for you, so just put it on there.
There we go.
That's okay. You're doing fine. And it'll take a few turns, so just be patient and keep it, and it will get easier with each turn. Yeah, you're almost there already. Now, I'm gonna back up our little catch can here a little bit because it's going to start draining here in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit is already starting to drip.
There you go. Okay, so now if you want to, you can catch it by hand and turn it the rest of the way. It's going to be very messy and it will splash out on you. It's okay. Messy is okay.
Oh, gross.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But that's why we have lots of what?
Shop towels.
That's right, shop towels.
There we go. How did it get on my legs?
It will get everywhere. That's the joy of dirt.
So, like litter?
Yes, it goes everywhere. It doesn't know that it's not supposed to go anywhere. Okay, so what we're going to do, now we're going to replace this part right here.
Okay.
That's the oil filter cartridge, and that's what we have to replace. But when we replace that, we also replace this little rubber gasket. This little rubber, well, they don't call it a rubber gasket. It's an O-ring. There are lots of semi-interchangeable terms for what that is, but whatever that little rubber is, that little O-ring is, you need to replace it.
Okay.
But that comes in the kit with the new filter. So let me go get the new filter.
Okay.
Fortunately, I just happen to have one.
Alright, open this bad boy up.
And what you can do is when you ever do this on your own, you will check out the type and don't worry about that. The type of car that you have, and you match up the filter variety, and you make sure that it matches up with the part number here. That's the original Toyota. I've always used original Toyota filters on this car, and you can get them at Walmart. Okay, so now here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to replace this O-ring. We're not worried about that little inner O-ring. We're just worried about this outer O-ring. So open up the package and get that outer O-ring in. Okay, and just set that down. Now, first thing we're going to do is take that little ring take that oil filter right there, that cartridge, and pull it out. Simple enough?
Yep.
Okay, now, see that little notch right there?
Yep.
Reach and notice where that ring, this O-ring is, and you might try to take your fingernail or something to wedge underneath there and then pull that out. It will be a little stretchy, kind of like a rubber band, but it'll be really slippery, so it might be a little tough to... See, you did it perfect. Okay.
And now just put the new one right...
Put the brand new one in exactly the same place.
Okie doke. So why does this have to be replaced if it's just rubber?
Now, I think... okay, good. We're in the right spot. So I wanted to make sure, because sometimes you see people put that in the wrong space. They'll put it down here at the edge, and you got it right there where it belongs. So we're in business. Okay, so now...
Put the new guy...
Put the new guy right in there like that. That's it. You don't have to squash it.
Okay, just want to make sure it's in there.
Yeah, it is, and then...
Put it right back.
And then, now, you want to, again, put it right back in that little hole right there. And again, when you want to start it, you want to kind of start it to the left until you feel it kind of click in place a little bit, and then you can spin it back the other direction. Okay, you don't have to go very far. Once you feel it click, then start spinning it to the right. Okay. Okay, now we'll take our handy wrench. Take your ratchet wrench. Now, see this little guy right here? Mm-hmm. On a ratcheting wrench like this little switch reverses the direction of the force.
Oh.
So you flip that the other direction, and now it will tighten for you. That's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the oil cartridge is torqued to the correct spec, and the correct spec is 18 foot-pounds or 25 Newton meters. That's according to the manual. So this is a torque wrench, and what we'll do here is we will loosen this little bolt right here, and then this little securing rod. Here, hold that for me. I'm doing this one-handed. And then what we'll do is, see we have foot-pounds right here?
Uh-huh.
We turn this handle until we see there's 20 right there. So we line it up at 20 right there, and then we put this up to 5. Oh, 8, that's 18 foot-pounds, don't mind me. So now we're going back to 20. So now we're going back below where 20 is, which is right about there, and that's about 18 right there. And then once we get it to the right part, we tighten this guy up, we tighten this guy up. Now take the business into that plug Okay, put that on there and just tighten it, and then when you'll hear a little a click, a little kind of a spring click, and that will mean that it knows that you're at the amount of force rated. Okay, now bring it towards you. Ooh, it's okay.
It's just not getting very snug on me. Or maybe I'm just like putting on wrong.
There you go. Now pull it towards you. Keep going. Here, I tell you what. You hold the camera for me, and I'll see if I can get that. I think we're really close. And the primary thing is
Is this where that girl in the Erico videos goes click?
Yes, that's exactly what she... Yes, that's definitely the girl in the Erico video would go click. Aha! Did you hear that?
No.
Okay.
I apologize if you get seasick at this point. I'm not great at holding camera steady.
There we go. You hear it click there?
Okay, yeah.
That little spring click, that means that we're exactly where we need to be. So the oil pan, the oil cartridge is on nice and tight. So now all we got to do is get this little cartridge, got this cart removal tool off, and sometimes it gets a little snug.
There we go.
Okay. What we did is we brought in a hammer and just took the edge of it and pried the edge of it off. So now we're good. We're all sealed up. Okay, so now we are done on top of the car, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave it jacked up while we refill it, so in case we see any leaks, we can tighten things back up. So we're all done for now, under below, as opposed to under on top. We're on the downhill slide now.
Okay.
So take that cap off. Now, what you have to be aware of is the fill capacity of the engine.
Okay.
Now, this engine in this car with a filter takes a maximum of 6.8 quarts.
6.8 quarts.
And one jug holds typically 5. So I'm going to need all of one jug and about a little bit more than 1/5 of another jug, almost 40% of another jug.
Okay.
So, the other thing you have to watch for is to make sure you put in the correct weight. Now, the weight of the oil that you're supposed to put in is always specified on the oil cap, SAE 5W30. That just refers to the weight, the thickness of the oil.
Okay.
And that's what we've got here, full synthetic 5W30 oil. As long as those things match, you're in good shape.
All right.
So now we're going to need a funnel to put in there, because what you have to be aware of is there's a little baffle plate inside the oil. If you just pour it straight in, it'll splash all over the place and make a horrible mess. So you have to be slow. You can't rush this. You can't make it go in any faster than it wants to, or else it'll just make a mess. So we're going to get us a funnel. And I have lots of funnels.
Car, truck, SUV, quick fill funnel.
Okay. Now, I only got 5 minutes of video left on this. Okay, so now what you're going to do, take the cap off of that. And what you got to do is you got to take this top off. Now the thing that you have to be careful about is when you take this off, there's a little plastic edge to it. You want to get all of that edge completely out, because you don't want the plastic cap, any remnant of the plastic seal, to go into the oil and then pour it into your engine. That would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And now,
Glug, glug, glug.
slowly, just glug, glug, glug.
Okay, so this is more amber colored.
Yeah, notice that this is brand new fresh oil, has this nice amber color, because a natural function of the detergents and the oil is to carry away the dirt and the debris that forms as a natural product of the engine operating, and it breaks down with heat over time, and that's why you need to replace it, because it doesn't lubricate and cool the engine as well. I declare that used.
Okay.
Okay, so go get that other jug. Now, we only need to put in about 1.5 quarts, a little bit more than 1.5 quarts. Now notice on the side here, it's a little hard to see in the video in the shadows, but there's the oil, there's a little natural demarcation here that shows you the capacity. There's 1 quart, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, 4 quarts, and full is 5 quarts. Mm-hmm. And what you want to do is, we notice where it is to start. This shows how much is left. So what we want to do is get it to about, probably right about here. Okay. So we want to put in about 1.5 quarts and then slowly top it off to get it right where we want it. Good enough. I think that's clean. There's no. Okay, so we've still got. Looks like it's just now to around 4, and I'm going to have to. I'm almost out of space in this video card, so let me delete some files, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what we've done, we may have missed a little bit in the video here. I didn't press the start button where I thought I had, so we may have missed some. But just to recap, to make sure, we double checked the level of the amount of additional fluid additional oil that we transferred from here, right? Mm-hmm. And we put in right at just under 2 quarts, which is what we wanted. Mm-hmm. And then we put it in with the funnel, and we have now replaced the oil fill plug, the oil cap. Right. And what we're getting ready to do now is we're going to use the dipstick to check the level of the oil in the engine. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when we check it like this, you have to be aware that it's a little misleading because the car is tilted up, so the oil tends to drain back in the back of the drain pan. Yep. So it's a little bit misleading. But knowing that, go ahead and pull the dipstick out. All the way out. Bring it all the way out. And now, what we're going to do is, you want to take a rag and you want to clean off the end. Hold on to it nice and tight. We're going to clean off the end.
Okay.
Make sure it's nice and clean. And put it right back in the same way you put it in.
Okie doke.
Okay, now is it seated all the way? Now put it right back out. Okay, now we're going to read it. Now what you want is to see the oil level. It's a little tough to read, and since we're just filling it, flip it around a little bit, 180 degrees. What you want to see is ideally, you want to see the fill line right at the, there are 2 marks. There's this mark right here, and there's the top mark right there.
Right.
And what you want to see is the oil on this line right as close to this top mark as possible. That means it's full. If it's anywhere above that line, but below that line, that means it's in an operating range, but you want to, it'd be better to get it closer to that line. And again, it varies from car to car. But in general, you can think of this range between these 2 dots as about 1 quart. Maybe in some cars it means it's a little more, in some cars it means it's a little less, but as a rule of thumb, it's about 1 quart to 1.5 quarts. Okay. And the idea is you want it to be in the full operating range. You've maximized it, given the most protection that the oil is supposed to give. For right now, I think based on what I'm seeing there, that oil is pretty much near that top mark. So I think we're good. So go ahead and put that back in there. Okay, now what we want to do, the next most important thing, and we're almost done. Next most important thing to do is to start the car. We got to check it for leaks. Make sure our bolts are tight. So hop back in there. I'll give you the keys. Do not put it in gear or anything. Simply turn the car over. Now what we want to do is get underneath it, and we'll watch it for a couple of minutes and make sure we don't see any leaks, because we want to look right here at the oil pan bolt, and there's the filter, and we're good. You think we're good?
Yeah.
You see any drips?
No.
I think you did a good job.
Hey.
Okay, the last step in the process here is to reset the oil maintenance light. That maintenance required light. We see the odometer is on, showing the vehicle mileage, which is 138,690 miles. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the key back off. We're going to press and hold the reset button. Now turn the key back into that same position. Now we see the flashing dashes. Flash, 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 all zeros. Now it's back to the odometer. You're done. It's reset, and now the maintenance light is off, and we're all finished. So turn the key off. And the next thing to do is to put the next thing to do is to lower the car and then put on a fresh maintenance sticker, and we're done. Okay. So let's finish it up. So now it's just a matter of pulling away our tools. So go ahead and just pull, you can probably take that mat and just slowly pull it, and it will pull all of our tools with us. Good show. We'll just take all this to the side. Man, you made very little mess. That's very good. When I do this, it's normally a horrible mess. So now take that cap right there. Put that right there. Now that's a little plastic thing. It doesn't fit super snug, so don't try to force it. And we want to close this guy. And what we'll do is we'll take this to AutoZone. They will drain it into their recycling tub, and it'll be all finished. Okay. That guy goes in the trash. We're done, sort of putting away tools.
All right. Okay. How am I doing?
Okay, you're, you know. There you go. There, you're good right there. Okay. So now we'll just reach under here. I'll grab this jack. You grab that jack. Perfect. We're clear. So go ahead and loosen that handle slowly the other direction. That's fine. You're done. You did it.
All right. Still a little bit terrifying just seeing the car lurch forward.
What do you think about your first oil change, young lady?
Messy, but not as hard as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, see, it's not that hard. I've always found all the DIY videos that I've done, that I started doing after I started teaching myself how to work on cars, is that a project that seems really formidable and really ugly, once you jump into it, like, oh, well, that's not nearly as bad as my mind made it out to be. Now, that's not to say there might be a project that really requires someone who really knows more or has special tools to do something. Sometimes it works out that way. But you've tried. And always be willing to try, because this can save you money and it can teach you some good life experience on how to maintain your own car. So, okay, like I said, I've done oil change videos before. You've seen me change oil on the Lexus and this van, and I think I did a video on her Corolla, but she asked to be part of the next time I do this, and I thought there's no greater time to teach her than right now, because it's a skill. Anybody can learn it, and anybody can do it, and it's no big deal. It's just a matter of being willing to dive in. Again, we like to thank all of our subscribers for watching, and I'd like to thank my guest star Lane, my daughter, for jumping in with this one. We thank all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Pray that you have a blessed day, folks. Be safe, and thanks for watching. If it's worth doing it all, it's worth doing yourself. Bye-bye, everybody.
Wear your mask.
Bye-bye. I almost forgot the most important part. In honor of her finishing her first oil change, we're going to put in the updated maintenance sticker on the car.
My hands are too greasy to take the cap off.
Yeah. Come on. The sticker. And what's the mileage say?
138,690.
Okay. Put that number in the top there. It's kind of small spaces. And the day we're doing this is September 5th. 6620.
Oops.
I'm shooting 9620.
Wait, what?
No, 95. It's 9520.
Yeah, I was about to say, because Monday is the 7th.
Okay.
Oh, that is just,
As long as you can read it, that's all that matters. Okay. Now peel that old sticker off.
Okay, don't.
And you can get a reel of those stickers from Amazon for like $5 or $10, and there'll be hundreds of them, more than you'll ever use.
Glass is hot. Glass is hot.
That's good. Don't smear it. Don't smear it. Don't smear it. You're good. Now, a little bit of a sad part about that is that we can mention this may be the last time we do any oil changes or maintenance on this car, because there's at least a possibility we're going to be getting a new vehicle. And just as a little personal note, this car has been a wonderful car. My wife had kind of expressed the desire that she was really kind of looking to graduate to something a little bit smaller. We're looking at maybe a RAV4, and this car has taken us to Florida 5 times.
Branson twice.
It's taken us to Branson, Missouri a couple of times. It's taken us to Dallas for weekend trips. I couldn't tell you how many times. It's been my wife's daily driver. It was the mom van when the kids were little, when this young lady and her brother were little. We've had this car since it was brand new in March of '08. So it's a little bit melancholy. This has been a really good car. It has a lot of wonderful family memories, but seasons of life change, and it's time for a change. So chances are this is the last time we'll be doing a video in this car. So bye-bye, Sienna. We've really enjoyed you, and I hope someone else gets to buy you and get some more years out of you. But say thanks to Lane for her good work, and we'll sign off for now. See you later. Bye-bye.